Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you so much for coming. We're going to commence today's program with a simple prayer. Maybe if you don't know the prayer, it's okay. But in our Vaishnav tradition, whenever a soul departs, we sing this song in honor of this special soul in our lives. So even if you don't know the words, just please, you can close your eyes and deeply think of all the memories you've had with Keshava and experience that gratitude in your heart. And also with that gratitude and with that love that you will feel in your heart, please share that and send it to his parents, to his mother and to his father. And like that we can, in an auspicious way, start this afternoon's program. Thank you very much. And for those of you who do know the song, it's going to be call and response, so you can respond. Jayanilo Premadana Karuna Prachu Jayanilo Premadana Karuna Jayanilo Premadana Karuna Prachu Heno Prabhu Kotha Gela Acharyataku Kahamora Swarup Rupa Kaha Sanatha Kahadasa Raghunatha Patita Pavan I'm just going to speed it up a little bit. No. Kahamora Bata Juga Kaha Kavira एका काले खोता गेला गोराना तारा पाषाणे कुतीगो माता आनाले पशिबो गौरांग गुनेरा निधि खोटा गेले पाबो शेषावसं गीर संगे जे कोइल बिला से संगना पाय कंदे नारतमो से संगना पाय कंदे नारतमुदा नीलो प्रेमागन करुणा प्राचु Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Prabhupada, Prabhupada. पाठ जय प्रभुपाद जय वैष्णव ठाकुर वैष्णव ठाकुर जय वैष्णव ठाकुर जय निताय गौर प्रेमानंदी Thank you so much for joining us in that song. And now we will start the eulogies. So, Bhaktagana Prabhu, whoever.
Welcome to everyone. Welcome. Just a quick note, there is a restroom about 100 yards behind us over here for anyone who doesn't know. And it's amazing to see so many wonderful faces here. I have to thank everyone for coming and filling the hearts of everyone here. Just want to say something quick before we start. Today we come together to share with each other a few moments, a few pieces of a short life, trying to understand a greater picture of a blessed and very fortunate soul, Krishna Keshava Burns. We all remember little parts of him, so we're trying to get a little greater picture here. Krishna Keshava, to some of us, he was a son, a nephew, niece, a friend, a roommate, and for some of us, a neighbor. So we knew him in so many different ways, like so many of these faces I have not seen before, and it's so wonderful to see this. So, and also, I think a very important part of this whole ceremony that we're doing, please remember that as we spend the next couple hours together, the beauty and intelligence and inspiration that we came to know as Krishna Keshava was made sweeter, wiser, and more loving by the generosity and soft-hearted nature of his parents. Krishna Prem and Bhaktagana, they are really, to me, as being a neighbor for all these years, they're like the goal of becoming a devotee of God, to have such a soft heart and a gentle personality and a knowing understanding and a person that's so willing to help others. And that's about all that I'm going to say. So everything else is on you guys. And we're going to start off with family. And who wants to go first? Bhaktagana. You want the mic on this side?
Yes, I do. I'm going to stand.
Okay.
Yeah. First of all, I'd like to thank everybody who came. I had to make preparation here because I know, my mind will start doing whatever it needs to do. And so I wrote up something here in remembrance of my son, Keshava. So I'd like to welcome everybody. Thank you for coming. I'd like to also thank the End of Life team for organizing this memorial for Keshava. Mother Mahuja Leela, she was one of the team leaders and the instrument in putting this whole process together. So I thank her and her team for coming forth. In fact, she was calling me ever since the very first day, the following Monday. She was calling me at least 3, 4, 5, 6 times a day, just trying to organize everything and trying to get everything, prepared for his final journey. Also, I would like to also thank my family for coming to join me in this hour of grief. I'd like to thank my friends that's coming as well. I'd like to thank Keshava's girlfriend, Julian, and his family, and her family, and her family, and all the friends has been very helpful in this process. They made a memorial at the crash site, which I think was so heartfelt. We appreciate that very much. And just by looking around the room and seeing everybody has attended here, in attendance here, tells me that he really was cared for a lot by his friends, and a lot of people that he knew loved him as well. The support that we have been getting from everyone on this journey, it makes it easier for us to bear. My wife and I, we were foster parents for, I can think, a few years, and we've fostered a few children that came into our home. And Keshava was one of those persons. He came to our house when only he was about 4 days old. So, and ever since then, he had been cared for and nurtured for as our own son. As he was very young, he had some challenges as a baby. Some were like feeding challenges, so we went to the doctor and they were able to give different types of medications, and he was able to outgrow that. It took a good little while, but he finally outgrew that. And then he was feeding a lot better. At the age of 6, he had blurred vision in one eye. So the doctor prescribed pair of reading glasses or glasses, and he had one lazy eye, he called it. So we the doctor put one patch over his eye, and so we called that his pirate patch. So we had to make that a little easy for him to accept, because he did not want to wear glasses, of course. So he had those. He wore those glasses for some time when he was probably about, like I said, around 6 years old, I think it was. And so he wore the glasses and the patch for a while, and in just maybe a year or so, he was able to overcome that. And it was better for us because he destroyed a couple of pair of glasses because he didn't want to wear those glasses. He just took them off and just kind of crushed them like this. He just didn't want to wear them. And that was better for us because, it was starting to cost a pretty penny. So he got over that. He was able to deal with that. So what else did I have? He also was a participant in lots of sports. The first sport he played was T-ball. He played that 1 year, and he didn't like that so much. So the second year, we went to flag ball. And he said, oh, I like this, but I like running. So he likes running a lot. So I said, okay. And I thought he was going to stay with T-ball, but he decided to drop out of that too. Then finally, we got to soccer. And soccer, he excelled. He went wild. He loves running, and he ran as if there was no end of the world, So So he excelled in soccer, and all the coaches that he had in soccer, they were the best of the best. Playing soccer was definitely his sport, and he loved all his teammates that played soccer with him. So I think that soccer taught him how to be more of a team member, and also to help others. And that was part of what he was all about. He liked helping people doing a lot of different things. So that group participation and camaraderie helped him as he became the proper age to travel with the boys' summer trip. And thanks to the teacher who was a part of that, he was the one that led the kirtan right here, Kishore and Dattatreya. So he went with the traveling party for about 3 years. He's traveled at a lot of places that I mean, I'm a driver and I drive all over. He's been a lot more places than I have. He's gone to Canada, he's gone to New York, he's gone to Los Angeles, he's been all over the place. Let's see. Yeah, so he loved traveling, and I think that traveling party gave him a very strong spiritual foundation. After some time, he became old enough that he wanted to start working. So he started working, and his first 3 jobs he really liked. And his ambition was to open up a mechanic shop because he liked working, and probably some of his friends that knows him that does work on a motorcycle and cars like that know how he likes doing performing mechanic work. So then at the age of 16, he started working. He worked Pizza Hut, another place I can't think of right now, and then the last one was at Vance Auto, I think it is, yes. And that was his ambition to open up his own shop. And he was a very, very good cook. I don't know if anybody had a chance to taste what he cooked, but we did not show him a whole lot. I mean, actually, we didn't show him anything. And he can go in the kitchen and he can make just about any type of preparation. Some were very, very hot. Oh my God. And I don't know how he was able to eat that, but he gave us some, and we said, "Ooh!" It was like we're almost like dragons or something, breathing fire. But he was a very good cook. He taught himself, and we thought for some reason that he was going to be a culinary chef because he was just that good. But I guess that was just one of his ambitions that he liked doing just for fun. But he excelled at it. So we were thinking about sending him to a school, but he changed and he wanted to do something else. So let's see. So I just wanted to share a few of those things with you guys about Keshava and how special he is to us, to my family. And he is to the rest of his friends and all of his teachers and like that. He had a very special place in his heart for all you guys as friends. He had a very special place in his heart for all you guys as families, and especially his teachers as well. So I'd like to take this moment to thank you very much for coming and joining us in this difficult moment. So if anyone, so I'll turn it back over to his godfather, Radha Gopinath, and we'll go from there. Thank you.
Thank you, Bhaktigana. So we're going to start with family. So is there the family that would like to say something? see, where did, not so much, okay. And then from there, Pookie, you didn't want to say something? Or does she know?
I'm right here.
Okay.
I don't need to come up there. We didn't see each other that often because of, being a military family and living in, I don't need the mic, I talk really loud. And living in Germany and different parts of the United States. But when we did see each other, we did this for about 10 years straight. Every Labor Day weekend, we spent a week in Orlando. And it was like a good time, looking forward to not even leaving the house to go to Disney, but to be able to just hang out by the pool and just fellowship with family, because we don't see each other that often. And I remember one time when we went to Animal Kingdom, and it was like this big storm, and we all got separated. They were making everybody leave the park. And I remember my daughters, they lost their shoes. So we couldn't find flip-flops like floating down the sidewalk. But we did meet up with each other at the end, and we were on the float, and they took a lot of pictures when we were able to be in the Disney float going down for the parade. But anytime we were together, it was a good family fellowship time and a time of love and just happiness. So I remember him being happy, and that's the way I always remember him.
Thank you. I think we did want to have Jillian and family say something if you would like to.
I'm Jillian's mom, Missy. This is Kyle. We had the privilege of getting to know Keshava through our daughter Jillian, and oh God, he brightened up our home. He brightened up our home. He'd come riding up in that little minivan with his with those stickers on the side. I'm like, "Are you a student driver?" He's like, "No, I just don't want people hitting my car." So, he was so excited to trade that van in, and he got the motorcycle, and as soon as he pulled up, that smile on his face. And then my daughter comes out, she's like, "Can you rev it? Can you rev the motorcycle for us?" But, we knew Keshava was gonna be home, and you just heard the bike pull up, and you knew how happy you were inside that he was coming in. And he'd come in and he'd cook dinner, and he'd take control of our kitchen. And we loved it. We loved it. And he brought a smile to all of our faces that will never be taken away. And we appreciate the community for coming together and raising such a beautiful young man. And it's a hard hit for all of us, but I know that his deities are there to protect him. And he's always going to be surrounding us. And we appreciate everything you guys did to bring such a beautiful man into this world. Thank you for everything you guys have done, and he's truly going to be missed, but if anybody, we're going to build a garden. And I think, the love that he shared in our home is love that we can help grow something in addition. So this is Jillian, and we're gonna build a garden, and we'd love to hear of favorite colors and favorite vegetables that he had. And make that an honor to him. And as they're in bloom, we'd be happy to bring them and drop them to the Krishna family. And, you guys can utilize that as part of your banquets. And okay. Thank you, guys.
I met Keshava at Duncan. Our friend group, I worked with two of them. And every day you could see the minivan, and then you'd see the truck, and then Josh's motorcycle every day. They all made a bet on me and Keshava. Yeah. That we would end up together in 3 weeks, and we sure did. Keshava, we would hang out at Jay's house when we would all get off of work. And one night it was me, and we were all hanging out there, and they were all making fun of me, and I had went to go lift my leg to kick Keshava, and he grabbed me and pulled me up, and I fell. Yeah, he was very nice. There wasn't a time, though, that he wasn't smiling or thinking about his friends. Our little friend group, I don't know where they went. They were back there, though. Emily, Morgan, Josh, and Jay, together every night at Duncan. I can't even tell you how many times I see the van and know that everybody was coming up there. But I do appreciate getting the chance to know Keshava, and my little sister and him were so close. And it was just nice getting that chance to have him a part of our life.
Thank you. So I heard Josh's name, and so did Josh want to say something? Josh? You like sitting or standing? Good.
Yes, sir. Nice to meet y'all. I've known Keshava for a while, since I moved to Alachua, actually. I've known him since 6th grade when I started at the school right across the street. He was a great soul. When he first got his first bike, TIS R1, I admired that bike so much it made me want to get mine, just like my friend back there, Logan. They just rode, and the way that they rode, and it just was amazing. So I ended up getting my own bike or whatever, and Keshava didn't have his bike because it got stolen or whatever. Then he had the van. Then he ended up getting that R6, and that man's smile since he got that bike it was just crazy. And I just knew that it was a spark of something different, that me and him were just going to ride every single day, and that's exactly what we did. It was amazing while the time that it lasted. I will say that I very much appreciate him for always being there for me throughout the things that I went through, and it's hard that he's not here no more. And he lived a good life, the life that he did live, and that's all. I can't really say no much. I'm sorry.
Some other close friends that Keshava knew since his 4th day here in the county. Bhuta Bhavana and family, would like to say something? Anyone from the family? Shaktiman?
My name is Shakti Mata, but unfortunately, I didn't know a lot about Keshava in his later years. I've only really been around him in his younger years, so it's very sad that he's gone, and I'm very thankful to see this gathering of people to know how his life, how he touched so many people. Dr. Ghana is like a brother to me. I've known him for decades, but life gets in the way. We are doing our things, but my sons know more about Keshava than, I do. But I'm really glad that he had so many friends, to come out for him and honor him. That just,
Thank you. Jonathan? I don't know Jonathan. One of his close friends also. Jonathan? There you go.
Hello. See, me and Keshava, that was my ride or die right there. Me and my boy go way back. It was very hard, not gonna lie. We done did a lot of crazy stuff. And every day was an adventure. He would text my phone every day, Big J, what we cooking, what we cooking? What we doing, what we doing? He's like, I know you hungry, I know you hungry. I'm like, you right, I am. And he'd be there all day, every day, long nights, and wake up, it's the same process. But I do miss my boy. In fact, loved him to death like a brother of my own. And it's a hard thing for all of us to go through, you know what I mean? So, that's it.
I have Trey and Ivy. Anyone? Trey, Ivy? Family? No? Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I've known Keshava since kindergarten. One thing about him is he's always put everybody first. If anybody deserved the world, it was him. He always made sure his family was loved, his friends are loved, and that he was always there for us, no matter what the circumstance was. And it's been such an honor to have him as a friend for so long and as a brother, and he was pretty much there with me every step of the way. Elementary, middle school, high school, we were always there for each other. And he deserved better, but he honors us all every day. And I couldn't be more grateful to know him or to have grown up with him. So, thank you.
Wow, I'm learning so much. Every single person that comes up here, this is wonderful. Herman and anyone from Herman's family here? No? No, didn't make it. Anya and Mom? Ben and Anya, okay, great. Are you okay standing?
I've known Keshava since kindergarten, and he was like a big brother to me. We were always the last 2 out of 3 kids in after school every single day, and he made it he made it fun. He always would get a big group to play manhunt or soccer or capture the flag, and I wouldn't really want to play, but he'd always somehow get me in the game, and I enjoyed it. And I lived really close to him, so I've hung out with him a couple of times with friends recently. I'm really gonna miss him, even though we weren't close towards the end. He'll always be in my heart, and I'll never forget him, and I know he's watching over us every day. That's it. Thank you.
Hi. So I met Keshava when he was 5, because Anya was in kindergarten, he was in 1st grade, like she said. I got to know him by him staying in after school so long, and there was something about him, just looking into his eyes, there was something different about him. And something drew me close to him. And I always felt like I needed to watch over him like a mother figure. And I remember sometimes he'd be a little rough with the other kids. I would always observing, and then I'd see him maybe pushing a little too much, and I'd come over to him, take him aside and say, Keshava, if you want to have friends later in life, you got to really treat people nicely, and learn to don't be rough with them, and and then just from then on, I guess I just felt like a motherly figure towards him, and I just took him under my wing, and I knew he was adopted, and I knew he didn't have any other siblings, and so something just drew me to him. And his eyes, I just could picture him as a little kid with these big wide eyes, and just open to the world, but almost sort of reserved, or he was so shy in such a way too, but such innocence about him. And I feel like he was always like a brotherly figure to a lot of people and to my daughter, and he would, even if maybe initially if he was rough with her, he came around, and then he was like a protector to her. It was
he always protected me. Other kids were rude, he would say something.
And so I didn't really know him much in his adult life as well, but he was always right there in La Crosse. I live right there, and I could probably hear his bike because it's so loud. So I'm sure when I've heard standing in my yard, if I'm hearing a motorcycle, maybe it was Keshava's coming by. And he'll be greatly missed by a lot of people, and I know he's happy that we're all here together, and I know he's smiling. I could just see him smiling, so he's very happy. So thank you, guys.
Thank you very much. Ben and Mom.
So Ben started going to school here in 3rd grade, and he and Keshava became friends, and they were friends up until 8th grade when they went to different high schools. But they spent a lot of time together, four-wheeling and paintball, on the river. Yeah, they were paintball fanatics. That jump place that they were at every weekend, Friday and Saturday night, at, the jump trampoline place, they love that.
Please speak in front of the mic.
Oh, I'm sorry.
People listening online.
Okay. I was just saying my parents were living with us at the time, and Keshava's parents helped a lot. We tried to keep the boys out of trouble, and it was challenging.
You can do it again.
Keshava was like a brother to me, and filled like a hole in my heart for when growing up.
Thank you, sir.
Miss Mohini and family. I guess we're getting the teachers here now.
I met Keshava in 6th grade when I started at ALA, and he was just so friendly, and I didn't understand it at first. I was like, who is this super friendly person who's always smiling, you know what I mean? how are they always this happy? But it was always so genuine with Keshava. And again, like a brother figure to me. He came over to my house every day after school for like 2 years straight. My mom would babysit him and Ben. And the two of them together was a duo, let me tell you. But I'm gonna miss him so much. And his laugh, Keshava had a laugh like no one else. We used to play this game called Fire. If you went to, I'm sure you know what it is when you slap the hands. And Keshava, there was a few times where it was only us left. And he would slap my hands, and he did not think anything was funnier than slapping my hands. And the way he would laugh, like, it'd make me crack up even though my hands were burning. But I love him, and it's so nice to see that he's so loved. So, I mean, it's hard to lose somebody you love. It was the smile that got me to the first time. I was, we were new here, we had just moved here. My husband, Tooch, he wasn't here yet. And me and Allison started at ALA. I started in the after school program and then as a substitute there. And we're from Chicago. So when she said she wasn't used to somebody being so nice, we really mean that. Like, you guys out here, like Florida people, and then the kids at the ALA, they were honestly the kindest people ever. I was a substitute, coming from Chicago, like I'm waiting for spitballs, you know. And these kids are like smiling and supporting me and recognizing me, trying to learn and understand the whole big new system there, you know. And then I got put into a long-term substitute position in which I wore multiple hats at that time. And it just didn't matter, like if times were tough or I was having a bad day or something, you know, Keshava would always just throw that smile at you and try to make sure that you were okay and kept you at that place. And he would know. And the thing is, I nicknamed a lot of you all, but you don't know that. And Keshava was my Garfield, you know. He had that sneaky smile, and when he snickered, I knew it was him. You know, when he'd smile, it was that he knew something, but when the snicker came, I knew he was the one who did something that I needed to know what that was. And he would just love when I'd figure it out. And those years were forever memorable. And we did that trip to Disney, for all of you that did the Disney trip. Oh man, that was so much fun. And just had a great time. Keshava was like a son to us, like a brother to my Allison. And then Bhaktagana and Krishna Prema became like family to us, and still is, always will be. And you know, so just thank you all for giving me that chance to know him and know each of you. And I didn't say it enough to him. I just thank you all, and I love you each, because I don't think we say it enough to each other, so make sure to do that more often. That's because of Keshava, you know.
So I hear everybody saying how much he smiled, and I'm glad it wasn't just for me in my house. Because that's one of the biggest things that I remember about him. He was always the chill kid. Nothing bothered him. He just, you know, everything was just great. You know, it was such a smile on his face, just like lit up the room. You know, and you know, when I met him and his family, the kid was really respectful. You know, and I honor that. You know, and I owe that to, I'm sure, his parents. But he was just a joy when we had him in our house, and just that joy.
Danella?
Hello. I didn't really think of anything to say. But hearing everybody, now I am. Keshava was honestly a big brother to me. Like, that's the easiest way I can put it. He always made sure I was okay and that I was laughing. And I don't know, he was just really there at all times for me. And so were you guys. You guys, and I know to my family too, will say the exact same thing. You guys have always been like, I don't know, such good friends. Coming from Venezuela, it was very different, the environment it is here in America. It's a little more distant. I don't know how to explain it. Like, you know, we're very touchy and like, you know, hi, you guys just kind of gave us that sensation always. And I don't know, it was just very comforting and just very homey. I don't know, Keshava was just really a best friend to me. Someone who made me feel loved always. I don't know, I'm just really grateful that he was part of me. That he will be forever. I don't know, it makes me really happy that there's so many people here laughing and sharing memories and thinking about him, and I don't know, he's amazing. And he'll be here forever in our hearts and everywhere he touched. I feel him. And I hope everybody does too. It's beautiful. I love you guys. Thank you.
Vishnu or family? Vishnu, want to say something? Is Vishnu here? No? Any teachers from the AL? I'm not from the AL. Sure, please come.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm not going to ask how you're doing. We're all swimming in these memories of Keshava, and learning about him is so beautiful. Actually, we have a group chat of the summer trip kids that, we travel every summer, and I got to travel 3 summers with Keshava. And so when we were talking about Keshava and we're sharing information about the memorial and reminiscing, I was just learning so much about Keshava, because my relationship with him was, I was like his chaperone, but I was hearing perspectives of kids that were his peers, that were his seniors, that were his juniors, and learning different aspects of his personality that I never saw. And he was actually good at not showing everything, because whenever he got in trouble, I never saw him. He was always a good boy, and then I would hear things, and then, but he was like, he made sure like I never caught him, and and even when he did get in trouble, it was. He had a way to make that experience very endearing. Like one example, I have so many stories but I know I have to try to keep it short. But one quick example is he became very attached to my wife. He would always sit next to her when we were on the bus or in the vans. He always wanted to eat next to her, and he got attached to my wife. And so one time he got in trouble. And Radha said, Keshava, I'm not going to talk to you now for the rest of the day. And then Keshava, he was like, well, then I'll just go home then. And it's like, how do you, the only way she could respond to that is to love him more. Because, he's expressing his love to her, saying, oh, well, if I can't talk to you, then I don't need to be here, And Just hearing like one of the younger boys actually said that when he came on the trip, he was the younger one. Keshava already had experience on the trip, and it was like the smallest and the youngest boy. And he said that, Keshava actually, he made me feel welcomed. And he told me that, hey, don't worry, I'll be your bodyguard. And we know that Keshava had all the capacity of being a bodyguard. Oh boy, was he tough? I always used to tell him, man, you need to be like a defensive man for the Gators. You have to do that. Come on, Keshava. He was like, born with he's like a Marvel character, like he had that type of strength. Like when you were talking about when he broke his glasses, I could totally imagine him just like turning it to dust, So one experience of his toughness that really stands in my mind, and is that, we travel with kids from 12 to 17. They're not that's not the easiest age, right? Teenage, the hormones, puberty, the attitudes, is just, and we travel with them every day for like 5-7 weeks, traveling too. So we had to make sure that they roll their sleeping bags, that we're moving, they're packed, organized, clean, we're doing activities. And so whenever there's a boy that gets sick or something happens, it's always something very worrisome. And unfortunately, the first experience I had of a kid breaking a bone was Keshava. Okay, it was a toe. Let's not get too dramatic here. It was just his toe, but I mean, come on, like breaking a toe, and the way his toe looked, it was just, he broke a toe, But I'm just so glad it was Keshava. Because we were all freaking out. Okay, so he was playing soccer. He was playing barefoot, and I just see Keshava sitting down, and then he's not getting up. Because usually when he's knocked down, he just rolls, and then he's up and he keeps running, And then he's not up, and then he's just like looking at me, and I'm like, "Are you okay?" And he was just like. So I come and I look and I look at that, like, I think that I'm just gonna see like, his not the big toe, how do you say, the one that's next to the big toe was straight up like it was like, oh sorry, like up, sorry, so it was up, it was like sticking up, and as soon as like I saw that, at first I was like, and then I remember I was like, oh, you're in chaperone, you gotta keep it cool. So I was just like, and I was like, oh, you're okay, just breathe, Keshava, breathe, and I'm like, oh my God. So and then I called Dada, and we called him, we're like, hey, we gotta take him to the hospital, let's go, like, let's get everything ready. So, he's sitting there, all the kids circle around, and everyone's like, I remember all the kids are not making it better. They're all 13, 14-year-old kids. Kids are there, and they're like, whoa, look at his toe! It's just sticking out, and I'm like, guys. And Keshava was just pristine, chill. Like, he literally, to the point that I was just like, yo, are you going in shock? Like, no, but he was just chill. And I'm like, Keshava, are you okay? And he's like, mm-hmm. I'm like, does it hurt? And he's like, mm-hmm. And I'm like, all right, so we're gonna carry you to the van. All right, grab the arm. So we all carry, Keshava was a big boy, so there's like 4 of us, we're carrying him to the van. We open up the van, we're trying to get in there, and the whole time we're carrying him, and we're like, are you okay? Mm-hmm. And like, is it hurting? Mm-hmm. No expression, right? No expression. I call it like either the cow face or the buffalo face, where they're just chewing. He had that expressionless, like it's all good. And so we're getting, I just remember to a certain point, what happened was, like, we're carrying him and we're putting him in, and right when we're gonna put him in the van, another chaperone comes, and I'm just like, I tell him, I'm like, don't look at the toe. Like, don't, just don't look at the toe. And what's the first thing they do? They look at the toe, and as soon as they look at the toe, like in front of Keshava, the face was like, oh. And like, I remember just like almost dropping Keshava laughing. I'm like, we're all freaking out more. And Keshava was just like, not worried. And so then we're going to the hospital. It's in Washington, D.C. We're going to the hospital, and along the way, we're talking, we're trying to like, he didn't need any distraction, but we're just asking him questions, this, and along the way, we're like, so you're okay, Keshava? Is it hurting? He's like, mm-hmm. Is it thumping? Mm-hmm. And we're just like, oh my God, okay. So we get to the hospital, and he's just chill the whole time. The doctor, this is the part where it was just, like, I was just, okay, he has supernatural abilities. So the x-ray, take the x-ray, the doctor's there, and he's like, I think the best, it's at the joint, the base of it, so before we should do is we should just put it back into place, and then, we cast it, and And I was like, you're gonna do it now? Like, you're gonna put it back in place now? And he's like, yeah, we got it. And I'm like, Keshava, do you want that? And Keshava was like, mm-hmm. And, like the whole time, it was like, mm-hmm. And then we're like, all right, Keshava, you ready? And then he's getting, doctor's getting ready. He's like, it's gonna be real quick. And he's just like, and he like pulls it. And we're all like, and Keshava was just cow face. I was just like, we couldn't believe it. I remember at that time I was just like, I told Keshava, I was like, look man, I know you love soccer and everything, but dude, Gator football, bro, come on. Gator football. Anyways, there's so many, wonderful stories of Keshava, in our summer travels. I wasn't hanging out with him like recently, just life happens. I had a daughter, the whole thing. But actually the last time I saw Keshava was right before my daughter was born. She's just 10 months old. And my wife was, about to explode. And we saw him at the rec center. But whenever we saw Keshava, it was always just big hugs, big smiles. And, I'll always remember him like that, and I hope all of you, I know all of you will, so let's keep those wonderful memories in our hearts. Okay.
Well, our list is very short for how many people are here. So is there someone else who would like? Mother Goddess? Sit.
Hello everyone, and Hare Krishna. Welcome everyone. Well, it's as we've heard, it's nice for me also to hear, different side of Keshava, because I was his 4th grade teacher. So, so our relationship was basically me trying to make him do things that he didn't want to do. Yeah. So it was a challenge. And but he always tried his best. He's really blessed, I saw, because he had 2 wonderful parents who really put in, they just always did their best for him, always, and he benefited from that, and I think he was grateful. And and as Keish was just saying, he wasn't like an emotional child at all. He was very kind of straight-faced, and at least from my experience with him. But I did see that when, that year, one of our students had a major loss in their life, and Keshava really stepped it up. But I saw another side of him with that, in the way that he tried to be more of a friend and just really show love. So that was very nice. Yeah, this is always, I mean, what to say? It's such a terrible loss. But we try to focus on whatever positive we can and just be grateful for his association. It's so nice to see everyone here. He brought together, he brought all of us together. And so I'm grateful for that. And it's nice to see the students, a lot of my old students. Yeah. So thank you, Keshava, for being who you are. I definitely learned, he's one of the students that I had that taught me patience and tolerance. So I'm very grateful for that. I'm always grateful for that. Thank you.
Ellie? This is Ellie.
Hi. I know a lot of you, and I know a lot of you in different ways that may surprise you. You never know who you're going to meet in life. So the ultimate goal is to be nice to everybody you meet. I do not have anything prepared. I just know that this is my family, and whoever is in this room is a family member to me, regardless of blood. There's a lot of people in here that is my family, my Krishna family, that me and my little brother had no relation to. We just came here, two little lost kids, and we went to that school right over there, Alachua Learning Academy, and this is my family now. And I just want to say there is not enough time to tell everyone that you love them, but you can say it through your actions and through the way that you treat everybody. And that's all I really have to say. The rest is history, because what's in the past is in the past. And I'm speaking on behalf of the DeFranco family. My father was unable to make it today. He has some things to take care of at home. And my brother is here. And Keshava is a brother of my younger brother. Whatever that means to you. And that's all I really have to say, is just love each other and be kind.
Hello, everyone. I'm Tapasvini, and my husband and I were lucky enough to be Keshava's godparents, and we also were lucky enough to be neighbors of Bhaktigana Christian Prema for almost the whole 25 years that we've been here off and on. So, it's been a pretty tough week, and it was like incredibly sad to think about what happened, and then I would stop and I'd think, yeah, but think about his life, and then I would feel happy again. Because Krishna Keshava came into their home, like Bhaktigana said, when he was 4 days old, and we probably came over by the 5th day or whatever. but from that moment that he entered their home, he was surrounded with love. They were the most loving parents that we've ever met, and they gave him everything. And the thing is, they gave him a real, not a selfish love, but a real balanced love. He had discipline. He had, both spiritual and material discipline. He had boundaries and learned the meaning of consequences. So it was very wonderful to see that whole process take place. and they were very, very proud of their boy. And Krishna Prema actually brought it, but she has this sun hat that she wears, and it has stickers or photo buttons all over it of Keshava and like all his achievements. So like soccer, probably t-ball. Every birthday it's on her hat, and I used to see her and think she must be getting a stiff neck wearing that hat, because like every year there would be more buttons on it. And so I felt like when I would meet her on our walks, it was almost like a Keshava update, because I could see, what's he achieved now, just by looking at her hat. So she brought that today. It's kind of famous in our neighborhood. But I really do feel that Krishna or God gave Keshava to his parents as a special service for them, because he was, and I feel like that Krishna said that, okay, he only needs a short life this time. He's going to have a short life, but I want to be sure that it's filled with love and just with the most exceptional parents. And so I feel like they've really done that. They've fulfilled that service. And we were really honored to have a place in his life and to see him grow up. And I also just wanted to express my gratitude to Balaram and his girlfriend for they were on the scene of the crash, and just for you to have the presence of mind to chant and pray with him as he left, that means a lot to all of us that love him. We're forever grateful for that. Yeah. So, anyway, I thought that really showed your character as a true friend, because you were there when he needed you the most. So we'll all miss Keshava. But again, it was so nice to hear everyone else speaking, because even though we were neighbors and godparents, he was very shy with us also and very quiet. But like someone else said, he was very respectful. We'd see him on our walks. We'd see him waiting for the bus. We'd see him driving by every morning. But we didn't really get to hear all this other side of all the love that he had for his friends and all the things that he shared with all of you. So I'm so glad that all of you came. So thank you.
Hello, everybody. My name is Abai. I met Keshava in after school. I was one of the after-school counselors. I met him when he was in first grade, one of the first kids I met, and the demeanor of just no emotion, just stone-faced throughout the whole time I was there. From first grade until 7th grade, so big chunk of the life. And yeah, no, when you would catch him doing something wrong, tell him, hey, you're not supposed to do that because this and this is why it's bad. He just stares at you like, okay. You're like, okay, well, he didn't get any of that. But then you would see it in his actions. He wouldn't show the emotion, but he'd really think about it, take it in, and apply it. And it was only after school, but it felt like we really grew as a little family there. And I came from Atlanta for this. I heard about it and I was like, I don't know if I should, but the more I thought about it, I was like, no, I need to be there. But yeah, no, all the kids from after school, sometimes you don't realize how much they really grow on you, but they really do. But yeah, that's all I have.
Thank you very much. It is really something special. I know in my early life, I lost some close friends, and this support is amazing. I didn't get that, and I know I just buried it in my heart, and that you're all like this. This love is like, hold on to it. I mean, this is really special. Don't let go of each other, like one nice lady was saying. This is special. There's Balaram. You want to say something?
Hi, all. I'd known Keshava for a long time, also with Bhaktigana and Krishna Prema, being like a second set of parents to me. My mother had always raised me to love both of you and to love Keshava. And the times I'd spent with Keshava were glorious, filled with happiness, laughter, sadness, anger, all the emotions. It was like a whole lifetime in a matter of one play date. I'd spend time with Keshava and we would argue and we would be upset at each other and we'd start crying, and Keshava would know how to get me out of that. He'd say something funny, he'd laugh, he'd smile, he'd get me to cry in the middle of he'd get me to laugh in the middle of my tears, and he would pull me out of my sadness and remind me of what a dear friend he was. And to be there in his last moments, I'm ever so thankful that he had somebody who cared about him close to him while he was here, and that he was loved. I'm happy to know that Keshava was loved by so many, and that he will never be forgotten. I will never forget Keshava, and I'm sure many of you will never forget him either. That's it.
I would like to share something really quick, just a realization I had. Everyone's talking about Keshava's smile, and do you know why his smile has affected so many people in this room? It's because he didn't smile for the sake of smiling. So when he smiled, it was always real. It was sincere and genuine. So that's one beautiful lesson that we can learn from Keshava, that to be genuine and sincere and see how it affects. Just even a smile is not even saying something. It's an expression, but just by doing that expression sincerely can really affect the heart of someone else. So let's be like Keshava in that way.
Krishna Keshava, beautiful personality and a very big part of my son's life and all of us. Because Bala had known him since kindergarten, and then he went to after school all those years with a Bai, and he can tell you that they soccer and they would play after school, and so many years at school and so many birthdays. And what I'm trying to say is they were very close for some time, in the sense that they were together and had experienced many things. I don't know. I'm sure it was a very amazing experience for Bala and for all the people that knew him. And if you saw them playing in the pool or doing any activities, Keshava was always mischievous, and he seemed to be into whatever he was doing. But you couldn't tell it because he never showed much. But you could tell he had this sort of aloofness, at the same time he's sort of into it. So that's a strange combination. But I just want to say that it's an amazing experience that Bala, he called me right when it was going on. And I didn't really even know what to say, because I mean, when a young person leaves like that, it's really, of course, if you're a parent, it's probably the worst news you could get. But at the same time, as devotees, at least we have some idea about God and about karma, so that makes it a little easier, and we hope that Keshava is in a better place, and we also thank him for all the experiences that he gave our kids, and also that we were able to be part of. And of course, my wife gives her condolences to Krishna Prema. They've been close for many years, and Bhaktigana, we celebrated many birthdays and they always bring cake over, which we're always, anyone that's got cake from them. So they were great parents for Krishna Keshava, and wherever he's gone, we hope that it's a beautiful experience in the next, wherever he's going. We hope on his journey that it's very pleasant one, and that he won't experience any negative effects, and onwards and upwards. So, how'd it go?
Anyone else? Neighbors? Linda Morty? You want to come? Say something?
Keshava was an amazing person for many reasons. I've known him since he was a kid. I lived right down the street from him for the first 14 years of my life. And I'm older than him, but in the same way as everybody else, he always felt like an older brother. He was always looking out for me and everybody around him, and always wanted everybody to feel safe. He always really cared for everybody else. We had this one time I was over at his house, and he has a shed next to his pool. And I remember climbing up onto the shed. We kind of convinced each other, we were trying to talk each other out of it, but convince each other at the same time that we wanted to jump off of the roof into the pool. And we were like, we were young, and we were like, what if your parents see us? And we were like, whatever. So one of us would take turns trying to watch in the sliding glass window to see if they were looking at us, and the other one would climb up and try to jump off into the pool. And that was always super fun. But whenever I was around Keshava, it was always like I don't have any bad memories. Like, it was always smiles and good times, and we always felt like we were like close. And like I said, he was always looking after people. So thank you all for being here.
Hello. I traveled with Keshava for 3 years on the summer trip with Keish, and like all of you, I have a lot of fond memories of Keshava, and he was he was just such a fun person to be around. Like, he never had, like you guys were saying, he's a very he was a very he didn't show a lot, but he meant a lot, and he felt a lot, and you can tell that he was a very introspective thinker. And I felt that he always knew how to light up a room and how to have fun, and there was never really a dull moment, and it was never about like trying to prove a point or trying to be something else. He was just trying to have a good time and make sure you were a part of it. And he had this ability to bring out certain qualities of people. I felt like your best self would emerge when you were hanging out with Keshava, like your funnest self. I remember fondly. It was like his laugh and his smile, like you guys were talking about, was just so contagious. Like, you just want to laugh and smile with him. And I remember, for me, it was a goal to make him laugh. It was like an accomplishment. It was like, yes, I made him smile, I made him laugh. He was that kind of person where you would just want to see him light up. And I was there when he broke his toe, and he was just such a strong person. I remember we would call him the train. We called him a train because he was just this unmovable object. He would just, And he used to make the sound in soccer where he would go like choo choo, and he would like charge at the ball. And man, I remember the night it happened, Aiden called me and we talked about it. And he said something to me that I'll never forget. We were on the phone, we talked about the whole thing, and a friend of ours actually took his life a few weeks ago, so it was like one thing after another, and that overwhelming feeling, it was such a human and real moment that Aiden said words to me that I'll never forget. He said, "I gotta hug you tighter from now on." So thank you all so much for coming.
I know there's someone more out there that wants to say something. All these people, so much love to share, please.
I knew Keshava from ALC. He brings, anytime I think of him, it's just a smile, like everyone else is saying. He's, anytime I think of anyone being very energetic and joyful, or as, I don't know, he brings a different mood anytime he's around someone. Like, whenever I was out playing on the schoolyard with him, the energy, like he was saying, brought out everyone else's true self, you know? I feel like he definitely brought true happiness to everyone that he ran upon. And I did talk to him on the 2nd of this month about riding a bike, you know? And, you know, I truly won't miss him. I was actually really hoping I could have saw him one more time, but he will be missed.
Another brave soul want to share and help us understand Keshava a little better. He was a mystery. Like you said, he was this. If he was into poker, he would have been a perfect poker player. Because he did not necessarily, please come. He did not necessarily always show what he really meant.
I didn't get to see Keshava much before he left. I knew him like a brother when I was in elementary school, and he used to chase me around the playground with bugs in his hands. And especially during after school, because he did stay a lot, and my mom used to work at after school, so I was there until the end. And he was always one of the last few people there, and we would be outside playing in the sand or in the soccer field. And I remember one time we went out, and I went to go get somebody for like detention or something, and for like lunch detention. And I ran out there, and the ball went like flying past me, and it hit me, and it knocked the wind out of me, and I like fell to the ground. And he was the first person to come run up to me, and he asked if I was okay. He's always like a brother to me. And when I got here, somebody told me that he named his dog after me. I didn't even know. I don't know if it was an intentional thing, but it really hit hard, and I just broke down in tears. It was very, it was a lot. Thank you.
I knew Keshava in middle school from 6th to 8th grade, and sometimes I felt like his personal project because of the amount of times he would make fun of me. I made some questionable hair decisions in middle school, and he made sure to let me know that it was questionable. I could live half and half, Oreo,
a chocolate vanilla swirl. His main nickname for me was Amberito, to the point where he would be across the field and he would just yell burrito across the entire school. And I'm like, huh? What you need? But he was incredibly sweet. I don't remember ever feeling unsafe or unwelcome around him. He was an amazing guy, and I wish I got to speak to him more during high school. Unfortunately, we didn't live near each other, but more recently on the internet, I was seeing everything that he was doing, and it really came abruptly when it all happened. I do wish I got to know him longer, but the time that I did know him was very special, and I will keep that nickname of Amberito for the rest of my life. And even people at work call me that now, and I think of him every single time, and I hope that never ends. So, thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you all. I just have a couple of things to share. My name is Jaggi. I was one of the senior boys, the leaders on the summer trip in 2018, and that's when I met Keshava. So I just wanted to share a couple of things. I got to be the driver and the cook sometimes. And I would supervise them when we would go to like Cedar Point, right? The roller coaster place. And all those different times, I was trying to remember when was Keshava there, and he was at all those different events. So a couple of things I wanted to share was, first of all, with Ritadvaja Swami. When we were with Ritadvaja Swami, I got a really nice moment with Keshava and Ritadvaja Swami. And Ritadvaja Swami was telling the story earlier that this one moment's association with a Vaishnava, the value of one moment's association with a Vaishnava. And the story ends up taking this person all the way back to Krishna. That's the way Maharaj tells the story. And thinking Keshava with Maharaj like that. Just how many moments of association with Vaishnavas did Keshava have? And then for the cooking, especially in Gitanagari in Pennsylvania, I have a memory of and a photo too, of Keshava smashing some like big bags of ice. And so he was just there doing service. And this one lady walked into the kitchen and was like, I need this bag of ice, like taken care of. And I just remember being there, we were like in a prep for dinner, and Keshava was just smashing bags of ice for this lady. And the lady's just standing there, and just whacking away at this ice. So I have memories of him associating with pure devotees, like Ritadvaja Swami. I have memories of him doing service in the deity kitchen at Gitanagari. He also helped cook. We had these huge pots, and he was, pouring in all the ingredients and stirring everything. And so he did service. He associated with pure devotees, and he also had tons of fun. At least in my memories of him, we would have awesome times on the summer trip. So I'm very grateful to have had his association. He was also my kind of a driver, keeper-upper. Like the senior boys they would have the privilege of sitting in the front seat sometimes. And he loved sitting in the front seat sometimes. And he would just talk to me, and I would talk to him, and he'd smile, the smile everyone remembers with him. I also have a really fond memory of him with this beautiful tilak. It was just so bright on him, and he's smiling super bright, and he was chanting japa. And there's this really nice picture of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta. And so just moments like that, where that's what I remember from him. And so I just want to say thank you to Keish, thank you to people like Ritevija Swami that help facilitate those experiences for people like Keshava. And then, you know, we understand as Vaishnavas that what he did with his service, that goes, you know, like Gladiator when he's like, what we do here goes into eternity or whatever, you know? So we understand that what he did, all that service that he did, all the association that he had with devotees, that goes into eternity. And we know that he's in Krishna's hands. So I'm very grateful to have shared that. Thank you all for being here. Hare Krishna.
So, my name is Sukita, and I taught at ALA for 14 years. I never had Krishna Kesha in my class, but I know his father really well. And when you live in a close community like we have, you feel everybody's pain, you know? So, wasn't my son, but it's like my son. And I was at a program yesterday with very saintly yogi person. His name is Romapad Maharaj. And he was telling the story of a young boy, Prahlad, and giving some details about how this boy, Prahlad, was being harassed by a very evil, demonic person, doing things like throwing him in a pit of elephants, but he would just pray to God, and the elephant would pick him up and put Prahlad on his head, or he would throw him off a cliff. And even though he didn't see God appear to him right away, he didn't hit the ground. You know, God held him, Krishna held him as he fell. So I was listening to all the parts of the story, and I said, you know, Maharaj, I said, I love those stories. I love those stories because they all have such a happy ending, you know, that Prahlad was completely saved. I said, but recently, we had a boy in our community who was riding a motorcycle, and he was killed. He was only 18 years old. So the whole place got really quiet. But then he explained that, first of all, we all have our designated time, you know, on this earth, and that even though Keshava was so young, he lived. We've heard he lived such a full life. You know, in those 18 years, he probably lived more than some people who lived to be 100 years old. You know, he was so filled with love and so filled with life. And that, you know, we're sorry for who? We're sorry for ourselves, because he explained that Keshava is with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, that he is engaged in an eternal service now. And I remember this saying, I don't know who said it, but only the good die young, you know, because he didn't have a chance to really experience so much misery, right, that comes with living a long life oftentimes. So anyway, I just wanted to share that blessing of understanding that he is in a wonderful place. And there's quite a benediction that Bhaktigana and Krishna Prema, you are well aware of, that when someone goes back to be with the Lord, they bring 7 generations ahead and 7 generations behind with them. So, and I'm certain in this case that it includes all of his friends, to all the people that loved him. So, Hare Krishna, thank you.
Hello, my name is Michael, and I knew Keshava from ALA. We met in 5th grade, and I was the new kid there, and I didn't know anybody, but he was the first person to, you know, come up to me and make me feel like really welcome there, so I really appreciate him for that. And I'd always go to his house, met his parents. I was like, these were my parents, you know. They're great. And we would just hang around, go to his birthday parties. It was a bunch of fun. And I remember this one time, and after school, there's this thing called a ribstick derby, and we would just ride the ribsticks around and smash into each other, and whoever was on last won, right? And you know, Keshava, he's the train, so he would always win. Anyway, some of those memories I just, I really cherish, and I'll never forget them. Yeah. When I heard about it, that he passed away, and I didn't really feel real until I was going over to my friend Sham's house, and then I saw all the cops on the road, and it just really hit me then. So, thank you, everybody.
I went to the same school as Keshava, and I went on a summer trip with him, but I didn't get to spend so much time with him because we're in different grades. But I had some good memories with him that I can remember that I would like to share. And I remember one time I came to his place, and he offered me a place to sit and a Yahoo, like a chocolate milk. And I was like, it just meant a lot to me, and there's a lot of respect there. And he always had a straight face, but when he was really into something, his face would just it would just bright up the room. And I remember we would always have a lot of fun together when we did hang out, and he has a mischievous side. We would like to prank call people and try to do Indian accents, or I remember I try to find commonalities that we both enjoy, and I remember we went boxing one time, and I was like, man, this guy's really strong. And I remember playing the game Hot Hands with him and Ripstick Derby, and me and him were always the last two, and he was a lot of fun, a lot of respect, and I wish I could have got to know him better.
I also met Keshava in 4th grade, and there's so many new things he would always be introducing me to. The first time I ever made a whirlpool, so I had the pool and stuff was over there, and I remember telling him that I've never felt a paintball, and he was like, okay, I got you. He's like, I'll just shoot you once and you can stand far back. And so I trusted him, I stepped back, and he put it on rapid fire. My mistake. And I remember in art class, I believe it was, he fell down and hit his cheek on the table, and he was like, oh, did I get cut? And there was a huge gash just bleeding down. And yeah, he definitely gave me a lot of memories and stuff that I'll cherish.
Hello, my name is Ganesh. And I've known Keshava for a long time, so long that I can't actually remember when I met him, but I remember in kindergarten, he was always a lot bigger than me, a lot faster. So when we'd play soccer, I could never keep him from getting the ball from me or get the ball from him. And at times it made me cry and frustrated. But as we grew up, Keshava became such a kind, loving, sweet, caring guy. He would always look out for you, no matter what happened. If he had something, he would share. If you were stuck somewhere in a ride, he would come in the middle of the night. And no matter what, he could put a smile on your face. His laugh was just so contagious. You'd be sad or mad or something, and he would just start laughing, crack a joke at you, and it would completely just make your day better and make you forget about everything that happened that made you cry or something. He's loved by everyone here, and I love him so much. I don't know what else to say. He's a very kind soul.
And I'm very happy that Paula was there at the very last moments, letting him know that he was loved and that he wasn't alone. And that's it.
Someone else? Here we go.
Hello, my name is Hope. I met Keshava in first grade, and ever since I've known him, he's always been a really fun-loving, joking prankster. Whether it was other students or teachers, he was always making everyone so happy and smile, and he never took jokes too far. When he could see that you'd start getting upset, he'd find a way to turn it around and just make you happy. And out of everyone in ALA that I've met, I feel like Keshava was definitely the most loved and the most well-known, because every single person he came across, he just brightened their day. And I'm really gonna miss him, and I know everyone here is really gonna miss him as well.
Keshava had a lot of friends, and I'm sure this is only a portion of them. And I mentioned at the beginning that we're all sharing a little piece, and it's like bringing together a bigger picture of this beautiful young man. And it's getting filled out, and I think we need some more. So if someone else can come and share just a little piece of the Herman? Please come.
I already talked a little bit ago, but I just thought about this memory that I wanted to share. So over there, like far on the left side, there was like this little swamp where there was like a park that when we were younger, like I think Ganesh and like Avi and Balap, I remember this, and Sudevi, he would make us play manhunt over there, and there's like little creeks, and he would scare us that there was water moccasins in the creeks, and we would play manhunt. Like it was really dark, and I remember it being really scary, but at the same time, it was really fun. And the whole time, we were like scared for our lives because it was just really dark, and you didn't know if you were going to step and fall into the water and get eaten by a water moccasin or bit, or an alligator, or fall into the boat, or just anything would happen. But I just remember like the sense of like youth and fun that I felt every time we would hang out. Just everything, like somebody said earlier, every experience I had with him was like an adventure. Everything was just always fun, and I feel like he really filled my inner child in a way that just, I don't know, he just really fulfilled every time we had together, and made just every single moment really fun. And I don't know if we're allowed to be back there, so I might have just boast all of us that we were doing something bad, but I don't know, it was just really fun, and I don't know, I'm gonna forever be grateful for every experience. And I'm just gonna cherish everything, and I hope everybody does too, and thinks about all the beautiful moments that we shared. And I really like something that Ellie said earlier about everybody being kind to each other and loving each other no matter what, because you really never know what anybody's going through. And, you know, purpose here is just to give what we can to anybody, to everybody. And, you know, I think just get to give love any chance you get. And I love life, and I love that I got to share some of my life with him. And I don't know, this is really beautiful to me. And yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Well, I did think of some things you can put in your garden. How about some chilies? There's a lot of beautiful chilies that will grow in Florida here, so that would be one. And he loved flowers. I remember he would make Bhaktagana and Krishna Prema plant rows of flowers. So zinnias and sunflowers and all that. So there is going to be some, is any last offering? We're going to have some food for everyone, and that seems to have come. And so we'd like to hear some last parting words from Bhaktagana. And I do want to share that really, as so many people have expressed that we cannot share with one another enough. And I think this will really be important with Bhaktagana and Krishna Prema. And so, Bhaktagana.
Again, everybody, I would like to extend extra gratitude for everybody who came, his friends, especially my family as well, to the family of Julianne, his girlfriend, and everybody else, his teachers, and like that. So, and right now, I think they're just about ready for the dinner, and I really appreciate everybody coming. Thank you very much. Thank you.